I'm sick, Charlie. Give me a break. Hey guys, one of the greatest things about fiction is the variety of it, especially when it comes to characters. We all know main characters, side characters, antagonist, deuteragonist, etc. And for those of us privy to the deeper conventions of writing, we start to recognize character archetypes. These are character expressions that present themselves in similar ways across multiple different fictions. There is the bully, the hero, the wimp, the jock, the beautiful person, and so on and so forth. When you get down to it, there really isn't anything original in storytelling anymore. We're kind of too late in the game for there to be. But originality isn't the goal when trying to construct an interesting narrative. Entertainment and emotional impact is. We want our readers and audiences to feel and believe and become immersed, and that can take place whether or not something in our story has appeared in another story before. And to that end, what I wanted to do today is spend some time talking about one of the most beloved character archetypes out there and how it's used effectively: the mentor. Mentor characters come in all shapes and sizes, literally, and many of them actually belong to fictions of Eastern storytelling. But the archetype is a worldwide, tried and true narrative technique that has the potential for huge payoff if used correctly. Heck, you may be thinking of your favorite mentor character right now, and how much you love them and the story that they're from. But having a favorite mentor character and knowing how to properly execute one in your own story are completely different things. So hopefully we can break down some examples from contemporary fiction to put you all on the right track of writing your own characters. So, what actually makes a mentor character? Well, it's pretty straightforward, as you would assume. It's a character that teaches another character on how to hone their skills, usually en route to achieve their character goal. And usually, but not always, the trainee character is the main character. Aside from that though, there are quite a few distinctive markers that comprise a mentor character. Now, that is not to say that whenever you write a mentor character that they have to follow these exact guidelines. In fact, don't. Be creative and inventive. However, understanding the fundamentals of the archetype will certainly help you when you have to add your own twists. So, since all character archetypes by definition have a purpose, what purpose does the mentor character serve? Well, there are generally two major functions. First, they are meant to show the upper limits of the world's power scaling and showcase what kind of eventual skills the trainee will attain or surpass. This functions as simultaneously both a world building and character building tool. Now, what I mean by power scaling is that usually mentor characters have a mastery of the power system present in a narrative. This could be a fictional power system like jutsu, or a realistic power system like martial arts. Whatever the case, a mentor character's mastery of a skill is a showing tool for a writer, demonstrating the power system of the world as used by an expert in the world. And as mentioned before, whatever the mentor does, the audience will automatically associate as an eventual skill that the trainee character will have as well, or at least something similar to it. Granted, this is not always the case. Sometimes the mentor character exhibits skills that are never rivaled by any of the main cast, such as Dumbledore's mastery of magic. However, the execution is still a world-building tool to show what is possible within the setting. The power scaling is accomplished through this demonstration by showing how far the trainee character still has to go. And this differential in power also acts as a character building tool, because we watchers get to see the mentor as their truest self. In both fiction and in life, power and independence reveals the truest nature of individuals. Mentor characters usually stand as the most powerful person in their environment, meaning no one is keeping them in check or putting guardrails on their behavior. This means that they act to their truest nature, which then directly affects the trainee character that they're guiding. Is the mentor character calm and wise? Then the trainee character will develop down that path as well. Is the mentor happy and go lucky and flippant? Then the trainee will develop down that path. Is the mentor sinister and malicious? Then the trainee will be pulled down that path. The character development of the trainee, at least initially, is largely dependent upon the moral compass of the mentor. So, for you writers, it is best to seriously consider the values and ethics of your mentor, because they should have a direct impact on the trainee and their journey. This is especially important to note when mentor characters are used in coming-of-age stories, because the trainee's successful tutelage is often synonymous with them successfully crafting their own identity. Mentor characters quite literally have a hand in creating the finished form of the trainee. And that transitions us into what mentor characters actually do concerning a narrative. Largely, the mentor character is meant to have a hands-off approach to many of the more serious aspects of the conflict. What they don't do is just as important as what they do. In many cases, massive conflicts will be happening close to the mentor character or to the main character themselves, but the mentor character will not get involved immediately or even at all. Or if they do get involved, it is at the very end when the trainee character has proven unable to overcome the conflict by themselves. Sometimes the mentor character will purposefully choose not to get involved, while in other cases they will be restricted from getting involved. This avoidance of interfering with conflict is largely due to one simple fact. Most mentor characters have already fulfilled their character arcs. Conflict does not have much narrative meaning to them because they have no need to grow anymore. Mentor characters usually don't have their own individual goals except helping the trainee come to fruition. This means that if a mentor character were to step into the conflict that the trainee character experiences and stop that conflict, the trainee character would not have an opportunity to grow. All the difficulties would be handled for them, robbing them of the experience to learn new ways to overcome conflict and their personal problems. This might be the most difficult aspect of writing mentor characters. They need to be present enough in the narrative to justify their inclusion in the story, but also far away enough from the conflict not to stop the characters from growing. Different famous stories have handled this difficulty in different ways, but the guiding light should always be the mentor is much more of a guide for the creation of identity rather than a fix-all, get-out-of-jail-free tool. However, when mentor characters do engage in conflict and show their powers, they are often depicted as near mystical or uniquely powerful. While this representation is not ubiquitous across all mentor characters, many characters exhibit skills that stand distinctly above what others can achieve in relation to mastery and connectivity to the world and the power system. Mr. Miyagi straight up had healing magic. Palpatine could create lightning, which at the time wasn't really special, maybe not anymore, but you get my drift. Iroh could redirect lightning. All Might was a walking god. Jiraiya had the Rasengan, the third Hokage had the Reaper Death Seal, Dumbledore had the Elder Wand, Kakashi had the Sharingan, Master Oogway had the spiritual pressure points, and honestly, the list goes on and on. In any case, mentor characters are largely viewed to be above the rest of the cast because of some type of special power that they utilize or a mysticism that they embody. Still, this extreme power usually is not enough to stop the final archetypal feature of this character. They die. Yes, unfortunately, most mentor characters end up biting the dust somewhere around the second or third act of a narrative. This is not merely coincidence though, it is a concerted choice by smart, aware authors. The reason mentor characters often die is because their removal from the story creates an unparalleled sense of urgency and vulnerability for the trainee character. Since the mentor effectively acts as a safety net by simply existing as a character with such phenomenal power, their removal from the narrative means that the trainee character now has to engage with the conflict all on their own. And for you keen-eared writers, this is far more about character development than anything else. The trainee main character is forced to grow into the person they need to be in order to confront the conflict and overcome it. The path that they were set on by the mentor character has to be fulfilled by their own power. Nearly every single famous narrative removes the mentor character from the trainee. Sometimes it's through death. Other times it's through the mentor losing their abilities. Other times the mentor is restricted or imprisoned or banished. Whatever the case may be, the moment in the narrative where the trainee has to walk on their own is the most important. You as a writer must decide if the trainee will maintain their morals and values instilled in them by the mentor, or if they will deviate and develop their values and ideals on their own. The death of the mentor is the crossroads where a trainee character must choose who they will be, and through that choice, whether good or bad, they will self-actualize. And it's for all these reasons that I listed above that we love the mentor character. They exhibit a wisdom, a power, and a completeness that is just cool to watch. Mentor characters usually stand as the embodiment of all the messaging and ethics that the narrative has in mind, either for those messages or against them. The mentor character is there to protect those that we care about in most cases, provide life lessons that we can take into the real world, and show us how to be calm, collected, and confident in the face of adversity. Mentor characters are a cliche, and a trope that's been used 1,000 times, but that doesn't make them any less cool to engage with. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way until the end. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe. If you really want to be a homie, check out my Patreon or my website for editing tools and my books. As always, it was a pleasure, and I'll talk to you all again soon.